Hey everybody, it's Jeremy and welcome back. Now I'm not trained as a chef, but I'm going to play one on TV or at least on YouTube today because I've talked to about 1 million people and almost nobody knows how to actually and properly use a knife. Now I've got a lot of friends who are chefs and I've learned from them and worked with them on how to use a knife. And today in this video I'm going to show you the 6 most important steps for, first of all, how to get a knife, but then mostly how to actually use that knife to chop things. Okay, as you can see, I've never lost a finger, got all 10 of them, and that's a really good reason, first of all, to learn how to chop well and chop properly. But there's an even more important reason, and that is that chopping can actually be very fun, and it'll make your life so much easier in the kitchen, make everything so much faster, so much simpler for you. And it's actually kind of a meditative process because it requires a fair amount of concentration and can be very relaxing. So let's get started. Step number 1, get a chef's knife. This is a chef's knife. You don't need to have the perfect chef's knife. I'm going to link to this one in the comments below. This one's not very expensive. It's a Victorinox. There are all sorts of chef's knives. There's a big debate about them. German, French, Japanese, all sorts of different things. Doesn't matter unless you're really, really particular about your knives, and you shouldn't. But you need a chef's knife. This is the most versatile knife in your kitchen. You can have other particular ones for particular things, but in general, when you're chopping almost anything, particularly vegetables, you need a chef's knife. So check the links below in the comments and get a chef's knife. Okay, step number 2, once you've actually got a knife, chef's knife or otherwise, you want to learn how to hold it. So the thing that you want to do is you want to use your forefinger and your thumb, your forefinger on one side of the blade, your thumb on the other side, so that they're actually pinching together, the tips of those fingers. And then you want to wrap your other 3 fingers just around the handle. So as you can see, I've got one finger on this side, thumb on this side, pinching together, other 3 fingers wrapped around, and you don't want to grip too tightly. Obviously you want to have a firm enough grip on it, but you don't want to be squeezing it because that'll actually force you to lose control. If you play any sports like tennis or golf, it's the exact same. You would never want to grip those rackets or clubs too tightly either because you'll lose control. So that's the first step, and this is actually maybe the most important of the 6 steps because if you're not holding your knife properly, it actually becomes much harder to do everything else. Okay, second big tip, and nobody ever talks about this, but if you've almost anything you've got to cut, vegetables tend to be kind of round. Now, if I put it there, it's going to move around. It rolls really easily. So what you want to do, obviously you want to start by cutting off the ends, but then more importantly, because you're not going to use those, you want to take it and slice it down the middle so that you've got something flat to sit on the chopping board. Because now when I sit it there flat, it doesn't move around. I can move it, but it's not going to roll around. So that's important step number, what are we on? 3 here, to make sure that your food doesn't move around, have some sort of flat bottom. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be an onion, chop it in half, or chop off the top or bottom so that it sits flat. Step number 4, and this is the part where you don't cut off your fingers. You actually want to hold the vegetable correctly. Now, in technical terms, everybody calls this a claw grip. I don't care what you call it. But what you want to do, you don't want to just hold it on the sides or have your fingers out because your fingers can get chopped off. What you want to do is actually act like you're going to claw into the vegetable. Now, this is easy to move your fingers along, but when I'm chopping here, my fingers are always going to be straight up and down as if my fingernails are clawing into the vegetable. And this is true for any vegetable. If you do it like that, then the blade can come next to your fingers, and even if you get close, you're not going to chop them off. So that's step number 4, grip it with a claw grip. Step number 5, always chop down. This should be obvious, I shouldn't have to tell you this, but I swear I see so many people, and there's certain instances where even professional chefs do this, but you shouldn't be chopping sideways. You don't want to pick it up and chop anything sideways, or take it and chop it sideways. Now obviously if you're skinning a salmon, it's a little different, but when you're chopping pretty much anything like vegetables, you want to have your claw grip and be chopping down. Finally, step number 6, and this will make it way more fun and a lot easier and faster, and that is how to actually use the knife to chop properly. Now you just saw me do it a little bit, but what you want to do when you've got your claw grip, take your knife, put it straight down, practice getting it as thin as possible. And what you want to do, you don't want to just push straight down. Now it's possible, but that's actually pretty slow and it's not as easy. You actually want to slice through it while you push down, which allows the edge of your blade to actually cut through and you can get it much thinner. A lot of people keep the edge of the blade on the board. It's not a terrible thing to do, but it's a lot slower and not as easy, and you just really don't have as much control over the knife. So I take it, keep it pretty much flat, slice through going forward, just pushing forward and pushing down. Alright everybody, that's it for today. I think this is really important because I think cooking is really important for staying healthy, making sure that you stick to a paleo or real food diet, because if you don't cook and you don't enjoy it, you're much more likely to go out, buy junk from the store, buy food, order in, eat out at restaurants, and that's in general a lot more junk. So I think it's really important that you learn not only how to cook well, but how to keep it fun and make it simpler and easier. And just learning how to chop well is one tool in your shed that actually helps you to do that. So if you like this video, please click the like button below. It's really good for us because it helps other people know that this is a useful video. Also, in the comments below, let me know what your favorite knife is. It doesn't have to be a chef's knife, although if you have a favorite chef's knife, you can mention that also. You can even put in a link if you want to. And right here, there's a click to subscribe button. We're going to be coming out with a lot more videos, from cooking videos to recipe videos, how-to videos, things about nutrition and health. If you click that button, you'll get updated every single time that we come out with one of these new videos. I don't have any bloopers or anything. I didn't cut off a finger.